Jamie, I want to go back to something similar to the first question, because I've been thinking a lot about this. Of course, we're a smaller company. We're not competing with some of the other big companies. So in our case, we rely solely on inbound. We do not reach out to anybody. We do not do any type of outbound. It's all inbound. And with the process that we have, we do get those calls from decision makers. Even people think they don't search on Google and on YouTube, but they do, or somebody's doing it for them and they end up in our pipeline. Now, of course, you have way more experience. You've seen different size of sales organizations, different size of companies. So I want to get your thoughts on, would you lose? Let's say you and I, imagine same size company. We have these different approaches. You are hunting, you're chasing, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna get the food and I'm gonna go hunt. There's a deer in that wood. I'm gonna go look for it. And I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm just gonna set up a trap.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna wait here. No, I'm not gonna spend energy. I'm just gonna wait, I'm gonna invest in some feed, some food, something to attract them, couple traps, and that's it. Do you think the market, there's enough deer for both of those to survive? Do you think that if the hunter is doing a really good job, they're gonna take the deer before he gets to the traps? What thoughts come up for you when I mentioned that inbound versus outbound?
Yes, so it's usually not an and or, it's an evolution. So when you were a startup and your TAM is large enough, let's preface that you have to also, you can't be in an industry that you only sell to, aerospace companies and there's only 50 of them in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the inbound game, you will starve to death. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now my TAM, let's use it, tens of thousands of accounts. At Sales for Life, we started a 100% inbound motion, and that got traction into the millions of dollars. And that's a great thing. So what you'll start doing is trapping frogs, raccoons, squirrels, and you can live off of that meat. What will inevitably happen though is if you need to grow at a certain growth rate, 20% compounded growth, if you're in tech, that could be 50 or 100% compounded growth, your size will force you to change the calorie intake, and you won't be able to live on inbound forever, because inbound, there's only, if you look what's called the Chet Holmes pyramid, only 3% of a market is looking at any given time. The other 97% is just not looking inbound.
Mm-hmm.
And so what will happen is it becomes a diminishing rate of return. You will have to spend more money in paid ads, in content marketing, in webinars, in podcasts to attract the equal amount of volume, and or to get more volume, or to try to capture that higher profiled ideal customer profile. So this is what happened with Sales for Life, is my marketing costs started to spiral out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually my cost to customer acquisition became insane. And so if you only are reliant on an inbound machine, you have to be willing to take your profits and constantly reinvest them into the marketing machine, because your calorie count is going to need you to get bigger, better, faster all the time. The thing about outbound is you get to control your destiny. When, as an outbound seller, you are hunting deers, there's time where it's feast and famine. You might not catch a deer, but when you do, you're picking the accounts you want. You're not waiting for like that perfect unicorn to come in. You've chosen the right account, the right ideal customer profile, and you win it. But it's also expensive, and it's not as scalable. And so typically it's an evolution. A lot of companies in their pre-seed, seed, Series A will use inbound to get to $5-10 million. And then they'll realize their calorie count requires them to focus in on certain accounts, and they'll start hybriding. And then eventually, great companies maintain a consistent amount of inbound, but they become really reliant on outbound eventually. because again, they become so big, they have to pick and choose their accounts.
Yeah. 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 Of course, right? Like if there's 5 hunters, there's only 5 deer, and you're just gonna wait. Maybe the other ones are gonna get it, right? But if there's a bunch, yeah, they're gonna get some, and you're gonna get some. That makes a lot of sense. Now,
And
Jamie, we've go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, I'm doing it a little different with pipeline signals. One of my lessons learned with Sales for Life is we became over reliant and addicted to inbound, to the point where when you stop spending all that money, the lead flow slows down.
Hmm.
And then it becomes like it's a Ferris wheel. You're spending less money now, you're getting less leads, you're doing less deals. Now you have less money to put back into the Ferris wheel. And so it moves in the wrong direction. With pipeline signals, we've decided to build an outbound sales motion from day one. We will control our destiny. We will be more cost conscious of building an inbound machine, and we will have both running in parallel, because there will be low hanging fruit that will come inbound, but I'll also focus that I will build the internal muscles to have an outbound machine as well.